Yeah, that's right. I see the chat. I see y'all rocking. I see y'all coming. Hit that like button as you enter the building. You know what I'm saying? Hit that like button. Show your love. Show your support. You know what I'm saying? This that dope soul. This that new thing. Nobody don't know about it.
Hello, Knick family. Welcome to the Just Knick and Knick Weekly Show, the first show of 2026. We're going to have a good time tonight. I could just feel it. I'm joined by I Am Jarrell from the Die Hard Giants Live show, not podcast show. Jeff Clafter from the Happily Ever Clafter Daily Sports blog. Knick Nation in the house with us today. And Ajay DeVille in Hollywood will be joining us late. Tonight, we're going to spend a little bit of time on the San Antonio game for those who want to talk about it. Then we're going to kind of get into the state of the Knicks, right now. And what is it, like 30 games now? Something like that, 30 some more games. And then we're going to talk about what we wish for the Knicks for 2026, besides a championship. What do we want to see? What are our Knick resolutions, right? So let's just start with, the game last night. Yeah, just your thoughts. Disappointed, encouraged. Your thoughts, Jeff. We already went through it, so we're gonna let Jarrell
leave it
and
to
Knick
the
Nation.
experts here. Get Jarrell,
Yeah.
Knick Nation in here.
Well, salute to everybody. Salute to the chat. Steph, I don't really have that much to say about this game. You know how I am. I'm pretty much even keel, so I don't really get too high or too low about these type of things. Karl Anthony Towns probably, didn't have a good game. OG Anunoby didn't have a good game, at least offensively. Champagne went off. Like, what can you say about this game? Like, if Champagne doesn't go off, we win this game. If one of our second, third, or maybe fourth options of the team actually had a good game, we win this game also because we had a good game from the bench. I'm not disappointed. I'm still, on the incline when it comes to dealing with or thinking about how this team is going to be come playoff time. And I was not disappointed about it. Like, I'm disappointed about the loss. I hate losing. I don't care what it is. But, I'm not down on this team. And everybody can't be down every time we lose a game. This is basketball. We play 82 of them. We still second in the East. I think the Knicks will be fine. We're not even fully healthy. Like, two of our best rebounders didn't even play last night. So, good. Salute to the Spurs. They won. They have a nice young team over there, but I don't think they're a better basketball team than we are. Like, I think if fully healthy, couple balls bounced our way, I think we could have easily won that game last night.
Jarrell, when did your emotional life become detached from wins and losses? For me, I think it was after 94 when we lost to Houston and I had to take a few days off. I had to take a few days off of work. I said, you know what? I can't be going emotionally up and down with the Knicks after wins. And I think it was around there where the tide turned for me.
I learned that early because at the time when we went in 94, I was 15 during that series. Mm-hmm. So I had to go to school. It was in June, so school had either just was over or just was over or just ending. So I do remember like the ridicule that I got from there. And to this day, I still hate John Stark. So so I think 94 might have been the time for me too. I was a spry 15-year-old when my emotions just went away from me.
Yeah, I'm like I can't do the roller coaster. I can't
do it.
Yeah. Knick Nation, thoughts on San Antonio, and thank you for being with us. Happy New Year to everybody. By the way,
yes.
I do want to say before Knick Nation, we got some condolences for you, Jeff. I know you don't want all attention, but we do want to.
That's the only reason. That's the only reason I didn't say anything because I didn't want to overwhelm Jeff.
I didn't want to overwhelm you, but there is love still pouring in for you. Kareem Grant, much love and healing. Jeff, peace, bro. A-Train, salute, panel, chat, Happy New Year, sending up prayers for Jeff, and his family. So we got your back, Jeff. I know this is a tough time. Knick Nation, talk to us about San Antonio, the San Antonio game.
Yes, definitely. Let me first say Happy New Year's to everybody. Much blessings going forward, and hopefully it's a beautiful year for everybody. Um, I'm going to say it in a point of where almost Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, because the emotional side of me definitely poured out a little bit last night, but it's something that I think that it's been rearing its head, here and there, and that's the Cat's performance. Um, because it always comes back to the sum of, your top two players, usually, that's where your money is and things like that. And I think that Towns, he doesn't recognize sometime the moment. And a lot of times he tends to fail sometime in the moments when we truly, really need him at points. And I thought last night was one of those games where he made a lot of poor decisions. And in his heart, we're saying that he didn't get the ball or touches. He did touch the ball quite a bit. There's quite a bit, a few times, if you rewatch the game, he doesn't even look at the basket. And when he does, and when Wemby was in, that's part of what comes with it. Your job is to attack Wemby. Your job is to sometime put yourself in between him and the ball carrier to shield the ball carrier. But when you don't attack him or give him certain points, it to me, it allowed him too much freedom. And that really kind of hurt us, because you can't allow Wemby to be free, regardless of if it was Cat or whoever was on him, whoever's responsibility was last night. We did a poor job. If you watch the game again, you'll see Wemby a lot of times just running free with no body on him. I always take stock in the olden, I'll say, teams from years ago, and specifically like a guy like Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman was so much smaller than Shaq, but Shaq I don't know if his pride will allow it, but Dennis Rodman gave him the hardest time. And the reason why is because he never separated from Shaq's body. He would ride Shaq from 90 feet. He'd ride him up and down just to be on him and in between him, because that then suffers you, but in between the points of the basket. But that was my emotional side of that Western game. But on the positive side of the game, I was very encouraged by our bench performing 55 points. I thought Deuce coming back, getting back into the rhythm. I thought he was all world last night, particularly in the fourth quarter. I also, McCullough Jr., I thought he had another outstanding game. His energy, his ability just to be a ball player. He does have with the characteristics of Hart, where he is out there, he is a basketball player. If it's assists, if it's rebounds, if it's scoring, if it's defense, if it's attacking, if it's just giving that energy, that kid was out there doing his thing. Diawara as well. I thought he did some good things. I thought that just, his shot early on was on, but then he just, kind of altered and stirred off a bit. But I am super, super hyped up about that our coach is giving these gentlemen minutes. So it's not an emergency like, hey, break the glass. These cats have some time and are getting minutes. So I'm really, truly happy about that. And I thought that was the positive outcome at that point of that game, is that these young guys recognize the moment and they are giving it all that they got. They are mature beyond their years. Particularly, I think Diawara to me seems extremely mature. So, but that was what I thought as far as about that game, though. I was a little about it last night. It was New Year's, it's things like that. We wanted that win. So that's just how I felt about it. And, getting a little frustrated with the officials. I don't blame the officials, but about 4 or 5 of those calls, those guys were just flopping. Luke Cornett, he got tapped and he looked like he did a somersault. So it was things like that. I thought the officials, officials missed some things like that, which then in the one point hurt us. But the bottom line, like I said, I think in the chat earlier, Luke Cornett really was the one that made the difference in that game. I think Champagne was great, but we still had it under control. It was during those points and critical points where Luke Knick either scored or tapped that ball back out for a couple of offensive rebounds that really bang, and that hurt us.
Yeah, timely plays, for sure. Shout out to what is that? Jeremy's house. Happy New Year, everyone. I guess my resolution is to emotionally detach from wins and from wins and losses.
I'm going to
Yeah.
take a page out from you guys. I'm going to ask y'all how I still haven't been able to do it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of over it. I'm kind of, yeah.
You guys are gonna have to teach me to be
Yeah.
like that. Your Jedi mind tricks, because my Jedi mind is no good.
I
I
mean,
don't have the
not.
force.
I mean, listen. I'm not saying that I don't have any feelings about it, but I mean, it was a time where my mood would be upset
Right.
for a little while. That's what I mean. Like,
I learned
and
that
so
last year.
yeah, I'm
Yes,
like,
I did learn that last year.
I can't be having my mood now upset over a basketball team now. I'm more irritable with my clients. You always say appointment was at 10 o'clock. It's 10:15.
Three people jumped out the window because the Knicks on a 5-game losing streak.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
man. So yeah,
Don't put a cuff on me though. Don't put a cuff on me though. Not during the game. Not put a cuff on me during the game.
Right. Well, this year's team is better. Last year's team was cardiac all the way.
Yep.
True.
Yeah, but this year's team is better. Yeah, I'm just gonna get to the chat real quick about this, and then we can move on. Let's see. Start back. Kareem Grant, appreciate you. FSEN 69. Dat Franco in the building. Yeah, appreciate you. Born Freedom, what's good, family? Looks like y'all got the band together. For sure. Wiz encouraging everybody to hit that like button. Please do so. Sherwin, I want Cat to prove me wrong. Start working hard on defense. Stop doing stupid things. Okay. I don't think that's all the time with Cat, but I do hear you more than we would like to see. That's for sure. Head for the win. I disliked we had OG covering Wimby. I was thinking Towns is supposed to step up and take that challenge. I mean, I think it's the coaching staff who gives out the assignments. Wimby on another level now. I don't. To me, they may play him at the center spot. I don't see him as a center. He has like guard skills. He's gonna shoot over whoever you put on him. So at least have somebody on him that could stay in front. So I don't know. What do you guys think? OG or Towns for Wimby?
Well, if he's discussing on the defensive end of him, it's going to be OG.
God.
It's going to be OG.
Okay.
On guarding him, it's definitely going to be OG. Towns is too, he can't move. His lateral movement's not fast enough to guard him.
Yeah, I don't think it matters. I think what Cat was on, if OG was on him, Cat was on Harrison Barnes. So I don't really think it mattered. Like, I think Wemby would have killed either one of them.
Wow.
Well, if Wemby did that to OG, he'd have had a 50 or 60 spot. The Cat was on him. Like,
if he played more minutes.
Although I will say this, though, Cat is surprising sometimes. Like, if you look at the Denver Nuggets playoff series when he was still in Minnesota, he played extraordinarily well against the Joker in that series.
Yes, he did.
And he was one of the reasons why Minnesota won that series. So there are certain matchups where he can guard another big, a fellow big, and come out okay. I'm not sure if Wemby is like that just because he's such a unicorn and so, in the things that he does. But Jokic is a lot like that too, but I don't think Jokic is quite off the dribble like Wemby is, but he's certainly probably much better as far as passing the basketball. I mean, he really probably the best assist man over 7 foot the league's ever seen, I would imagine.
No.
He's missing certain rules on defense, though. That principle, like Cat gets last night into the game, right? If you hear him say it, 90 seconds into the game, foul. There's a betting thing on him that he will get 2 fouls within 2 minutes of the game.
See, I don't think that should be a thing either, though, because the officials get a hold of that, and you talking about easy money and corruption right there. That's
And one or two calls on Cat, I didn't even think were a foul, quite frankly. So he did have some stupid ones, but there was like one or two. I was like
Oh, I agree. I
like
100% agree.
Come on. Old Head Town should be insulted. I mean, Old Head, I don't think it's about size. It's about skill set. He's 7 foot, but this is somebody who has a handle, can put the ball on his leg, who's really through his legs, quick off the dribble. Like, what is Cat? Cat can't stay in front of Wemby. He just can't. Even though he's 7 foot and Wemby's 7 foot, he cannot move his feet to stay in front of
and Wemby's 7'4", so he can still shoot over the top of him.
Yeah, I don't think
he's got 5 inches on him, 4 or 5 inches on him. You don't think about that, but I mean, he's a lot taller.
Yeah, the time to do the work on those people. That's not the time to do it. Yeah, that's not the time to do when a person has the ball, that's not the time to really, to do it to them. You know what I mean? To have your presence. Your presence has to be before he ever gets that ball to put him to work. That's the problem with Wemby. And that's the problem what we refuse to do on certain points of him, is to really lean into him prior to the ball, try to deny him the ball and deny him from going back door on us. We missed those few things that night and hurt us.
Steph, what O-Head said about being insulted about the 6'8" player, did he mean on offense or on defense?
That's a good point. O-Head, let us know. I'm thinking that he's saying that they're putting a 6'8" player on Wemby instead of putting him on Wemby. But maybe he's saying it the other way around, that they are guarding him with a 6'8" guy. Is that what he's saying? Okay.
I mean, it could go either way because Harrison Barnes was on Cat. So,
right. Yeah.
Like if Wemby can kill OG Anunoby like that, then what can Cat do to Harrison Barnes? That's my point.
That's the OKC solution, though. We've been seeing that for over a year now, right? Yep. You put your athletic wing on Towns, and it it's like kryptonite. It neutralizes him for some reason, and it should.
But it should not. But I think part of it is that, and we talked about this ad nauseum. He doesn't get the ball in those situations. So is that a Brunson thing? Is that Cat not being assertive? Is that a coach not emphasizing it? Like what's the issue there? Because there is a mismatch.
I think it's everybody's fault at this point.
I agree, Drill. D, all of the above.
Right.
It's tough.
Yeah. And I mean, I know a big portion of the fan base is a little down on Cat. I'm not. I do think he has games where, he's not good down the stretch, but there were other games where he has been good for us down the stretch. And Jeff and I talked about it this morning, that Brunson miss, and he came with the acrobatic, tip-in. I forgot what game that was, maybe a game or, a game or two ago. And that's something that I've been impressed with him about, that he could not get touches, not have a great game, and still make a big play down the stretch. Obviously last night just wasn't one of those. It wasn't one of those games. So we'll see. I'm not down on Cat. I actually see more effort on defense in terms of his rotations, and I think last night was just not one of his best games. But I think he'll bounce back. I think he'll be. I think he'll be fine. I'm not down on Cat, right? But I get it.
Well, I'll put it this way: Cat is so good that he still had 20 and 7, and we're saying he had a bad game,
right?
Because it was a bad game.
I'm not. I wouldn't say that I'm. Yeah, I'm not saying that I'm down on Cat, but it's what it is that it's when it rears his head, because we know how good he can be, but it's just when it rears his head, it's like, why, Cat? Why? Why? And those are the things that kind of get us frustrated with him, because we know he's better than that. That's when you know what I mean? Like Yabusele, I don't, harbor any ill will because I don't think he's better than that. But Cat, I know that he's better than that. So that's where we as fans get frustrated from watching it, going, why? You know what I mean? It's things like that. So
Okay. All right. Anything else on San Antonio? All right. Let's move into 2026. This is a new year. I think most of us, if not all of us, are hopeful and about the Knicks winning the championship um, this year. I'm not as pressed about it happening this year. To me, a 3-year window is fine, but I get it. I get for some of you the time is right now. Um,
mhm.
So before we even get in what we want to see from the Knicks, let's just do a quick state of the Knicks heading into 26. Just at this point in the season, is this what you expected from the team? Do you think this is more than you expected? Do you think that this is a little less than you expected? How how is the team meeting your expectations at this point in the season? And then we'll get into who's excelled, who may have surprised you, you know, things like that. Jeff, we'll start with you.
Well, I'm really actually encouraged. I saw something on X. I think it was today even that talked about how the Knicks are similar record to last year, but our strength of schedule up to this point last year was like 28th in the league, and it's 13th so far, which seems high to me. I don't think we've played a lot of the best teams, but we haven't really had our West Coast swings yet. But I'm encouraged by that. Our overall net rating is very good. I think that's kind of the if there's a stat that's a litmus test for if you're a contender or not, I think that's it. And when your net rating is +6 or better, I think that's an awesome sign. So I'm really encouraged. We're actually about on the same win pace as we were. At this time last year. So I think that's encouraging too, because we've had a lot more injuries than we had last year. I mean, I think we've missed
Hmm.
at least 31 games from our starters so far, and we've played 33, right? So that means like every game we have at least one player down, and in some games it's multiple guys. So and we've got a new coach. We're learning a new system. So there's a lot of changes, and when you can be going through a lot of changes and you're still able to excel and succeed. I think that's pretty impressive, but I'm really actually looking forward to see what we do in the month of January, because I think we really need to stack some wins this month, because February and March it gets a little bit rough. I mean, we're going to enjoy it from the standpoint that we'll be testing ourselves against the elite teams, but we have a kind of a stretch of time where we can really stack some wins and kind of keep ourselves elevated is in terms of seeding, because teams like Boston and Toronto are really not that far behind us in spite of our really good play. So I think that this next month is going to be telltale if we can go 7-3 or 8-2 or something like that, and really continue this run that we've been on. I think that bodes well as we get into the meat of our schedule, if you want to say. And look, we this season we kind of play to the level of our competition a little bit. So I really like to see us kind of step in some necks and take care of business a little bit better.
Yeah. Yeah. Great point. Um, Nick Nation, as far as the team right now, exceeded, met your expectations? Not quite.
I'm giving them an A. But my thought pattern is an A plus, but I always think that there's room for improvement. Because last year at this time, if you had told me three of those main players had been out that game against San Antonio, and we were within a chance of, or a shot or two, or a stop or two of winning that game, I would have said no way. But yet here we are. I think all the I've had to learn to change my thought pattern on how we read teams. I think, like I said, I've said on other shows where I believe we were conditioned to kind of believe like in ways of Thibodeisms, I'll call it, because remember we would think that, hey, with young players coming in, we have championship aspirations, that these guys can't, don't do this, they can't make this. And as it is right now, Mike Brown has showed us differently. He's had these players ready. He has more of a cohesive system. And I see nothing but real encouragement there. So that's why I definitely give them a 100% A. But with the A plus point goes in my heart, because in the heart of hearts, I usually would think in that way. But the way that we were browbeat down, like we don't watch film, you guys, people don't know, the way he would snatch these players out so fast and not truly give them a chance, you know. So I'm looking at some of our players that which we even lost. Maybe with a coach like Brown, where would we would be with some of these players, or where would some of these players' careers have gone? Because it really takes somebody to truly believe in you, and give you instill that confidence, and you carry on. Because I always say when Obi left us, he looked like a different player over there instantly. He did not look like the same, what's name, the confidence he would have in his jump shot. And even over there, his coach would still pull him out, but he must have instilled some level of confidence point in him. So I think that Mike Brown and the way that he coaches, and I think that he is just, when you see him on these press conferences, his heart is out there and he means what he says. But I think he says it to these players right there during the game. And I don't think they have no, they're not misconstrued about anything, from the locker room to, sitting there at the NBA table. I think they know where this man comes from. And I think that carries a lot of weight, especially with players of today's times, because it takes some time a coach to identify with these players. And I think for such a short span that we've had him, I think he's gained these players' respect. And I think between them and the veterans that we have and the organization, that is a great cohesion. And I see real positive movement going forward with us. So that's why I give him the AA plus, because it's everything I've dreamed of. I'm just scared to wake up and be like, wait, what happened? Was it something else? But right now it feels like I'm in a dream.
All right. Jarrell?
State of the Knicks, 2026. Well, I mean, it's kind of hard to complain about a team that's like, we're tied for like the third best record in the NBA right now. We only have 10 losses. So it's kind of hard to be disappointed about a team like that, especially with a new coach. The type of team that we had multiple players out for multiple games. We don't even have a full-time Mitch yet.
I don't know if we ever will.
Might not ever will. In the beginning of the season, Cat had a quad injury. I don't really know how that's going right now. Brunson has missed games. Hart has missed games. Like we got 10 losses in the new year, and half of our team pretty much has been injured. So a lot of young guys have been getting good minutes, and we've been actually winning games where they've gotten those minutes. So I think we're in a really, really good spot, man. It hasn't been the All-Star game. That's when we really assess things, after the All-Star break and maybe after the trade deadline. You never know when a move is coming. But as of right now, like at 23-10, I mean, what can you really complain about? You can complain about like individual performances and stuff like that, but we're obviously a good team. We're obviously a playoff team going forward, at least this year. And so far, Mike Brown has gotten an A from me so far. It's not the only thing I pretty much have a problem with, maybe the defense going forward. But until we have like a full roster, I mean, what are you actually grading? Like take last night game, for example, against the Spurs, without Hart and without Mitch playing, and hopefully they'll be, say if it was a 7-game series, those guys would be playing. Like the game would look completely different. So until, we actually have a full roster and we get close to playoff time, that's when I'll really, I can really assess this team. And so far, I think if we're doing grades, I do give Mike Brown and the Knicks an A so far.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if I have anything to add to that. They definitely are, I would say, exceeded my expectations this early in the season, right? That things are clicking the way they're clicking after what 30, 30 games or 30 30 some more games. Um, I still feel we'll see what happens with Cat. I would like to see him a bit more involved. I go back and forth with this. There's some games I feel like I want to see him more involved, and then there's other games where I'm like, he just gonna be like Bridges and OG and just get it within the flow of the game. If it comes to him, it comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I go back and forth with that, but he's just a special offensive um, player. And this is nothing new. He's been in the league. What this is his 11th year, so we kind of know who he is. Um, I love Mike Brown. He's everything I thought he would be, and I wanted him to be. Um, when we hired him, um, but the jury is still out, in my opinion, until the playoffs, because that's why he was brought here, right? He was brought here with the idea that his process would be different from Thibodeau, and it has been, but not just that it would be different from Thibodeau, that it would be different enough to get us over the top. Now, obviously, it's not all on him, right? But that his part would be um, better and different enough to get us over the top. And obviously, the players have to perform. Um, and that's not something we're going to know until the playoffs. But for me, I know everybody focuses on other things. For me, I'm focusing on schematics, lineups, and adjustments. Like that's my focus. I'm not really focused on the fact that he has a good press conference, and now they can play music in the locker room and they couldn't play music last year. I mean, I'm joking, but I'm not focused on those sorts. Oh, you see how he walk and how he pulls players to this. Like I don't care. I don't care. And I get it. There's something to that. If players, feel comfortable, confident, maybe their percentage goes up. Their field goal percentage goes up 1 or 2 points. I don't know. But for me, it's about what is our offense looking like? What is our defense looking like? What are the lineups looking like? What adjustments are being made in game? That's what bodes well for me. As far as the young players are concerned, I like that, they're giving us positive minutes when they get in the game. They're not somebody I would count on in the playoffs. And that's not to say that they can't come in the playoffs and give you positive minutes. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is we got 9 strong between our starters and Mitch, McBride, Clarkson. I'm missing somebody. Who's coming? Not Yabusele. Mitch, McBride, Clarkson. Who else am I missing?
Kolick now, I guess.
Not Kolick. I'm not saying Kolick won't play,
You mean
but
just coming off the bench? Period.
Damn it.
yeah,
Oh, because Shamit because he's hurt.
Shamit is hurt. But was it Shamit though?
Because at
Yeah,
one
yeah,
point,
Shamit.
Shamit was starting,
Yeah,
and
Shamit.
Hart was coming off
Okay.
the bench if he was thinking about Hart
Okay. All right. Well,
in the beginning of the season.
to me, like those are the 9 that I feel like the Knicks have to count on, and I think whatever you get from those young players are gravy. I don't think it's fair to them to put them in situations and expect them to be consistent game in and game out. Um, there's a learning curve for young players. But I like the 9, that we have. If the Knicks feel like they're not going to make any changes, let's go with that. And yes, there will be times in the game where Kolick is going to get in, Diawara is going to get in, McCullough is going to get in, Haporti is going to get in. And the fact that they're getting these early minutes, they're not a mystery, right? During those times, the coach is not like, I don't know what I'm going to get, but I got to put in Haporti because Mitch is out today and Towns just got into foul trouble. I think the more you play them, the more their confidence is up. And they're used to being on the floor, with the starters, you have a better chance of getting positive minutes in that situation. But I, for one, ain't going in there feeling mad comfortable if Diawara has to play 25 minutes a game in a playoff game. I don't care how well they're playing right now. But I do like the fact that, if you do put them in, there's you can get some positive minutes from them. And even if you don't, you take them out. Like like it's not like they're the sixth, seventh person in the rotation, right? They're the ninth, tenth
Right.
person in the rotation. They play well, you give them more minutes. They don't play well, you don't bring them back. Like Diawara only played 43 minutes. First of all, I didn't even know he only played like 5 minutes in the game last night, and only
Yeah, that
43
much.
seconds in the second quarter. But you can do that when you have guys that you're not counting on them, right? So if they play well, you leave them in. They don't play well, you take them out. To me, and you guys can disagree, I feel like that's the perfect role for a young player because it's a pressure-free role. It's pressure-free. It's not like, oh my God, I'm the lone backup to Carl Anthony Towns. You know what I mean? Like they really counting on me to come in here and I just don't think that's a good role for for a
I don't
young player.
disagree with I don't disagree with you. I just think it's a blessing in twofold. And the twofold of it is that they're getting minutes, so they're gaining experience, and we're not overtaxing our starters or
Right.
6 or 7 guys, and then all of a sudden down the end of the season where our teammates have played an extra 5 or 6 or 7 games as opposed to who they're going against. So that's why I really feel positive about it. And because we've went through this. We've gone through that same thing for 3 or 4 years where we overtax our players and what's things not being a minute police, but it does it does add up in a point. You know what I mean? The more you're out there,
I'm
the
not
more
a
you're
I'm
getting
not a
things.
believer. I hear you. I'm not a believer
Mhm.
of that. Like the Knicks were fine. To me, the Knicks lost. I know people are like, oh, they lost because they wore down. The Knicks lost for so many reasons. Thibodeau in terms of lineups, matchups, adjustments, players not hitting the shots they did get that were wide open. Players in the Indiana series turning the ball over, not getting back on defense. I'm not going to say that the Knicks lost because they were tired.
There
Cleveland
is
was
some
the most
analysts
well.
there, right?
Fine. Cleveland was the most well rested team in the NBA. Nobody played more than 32 minutes or whatever it was per game, and they were injured and soft and was out in the second the the second
True,
the second round, right?
true.
Josh Hart, oh, I didn't have anything left. Yeah, because you played, you stunk up the joint, and so now you're going to say it was because you didn't have anything left. Maybe he didn't have anything else left, but maybe he was making excuses because he stunk the joint up, right? In that last series, who knows, right? There's no guarantees in the playoffs that the Knicks are fresh, so now they go into the finals. You know what I mean? There's no guarantees. Everything is kumbaya right now with the Knicks. I
Right.
love the fact that, to Jarrell's point, only two players have played every game, and that's been Bridges and Clarkson. We've thrown out lineups that you wouldn't even put together in the park, right?
Mhm.
And even with that, the Knicks are Detroit lost tonight, so I don't know if we're one or two, still two behind Detroit in
True.
second place. Um, with all of this experimentation, the Knicks are still in a good place. Like, to me, that bodes well for the Knicks. Mike Brown is collecting a lot of data on his team and all of the different lineups. That definitely does bode well for us as a team. But at the end of the day, it's the playoffs are going to tell the playoffs are going to tell the story. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Oh no, you guys, any
And
Oh yeah,
any other
no, no,
comment?
it was you.
All right, I do want should I don't know if
mm,
I should get to the chat. Anybody, any particular player that has surprised you or disappointed you, or you thought they would be doing A and that hasn't quite happened, other than the young guys, because I want to talk about them in a separate section.
hmm, that's good. Maybe Cat. I mean, a lot of people are down on Carl Anthony Towns right now. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily down on him, but I think he can play better though. At first, in the beginning of the season, on defense, he seemed like he was lost a lot. He's gotten a lot better since then, though. But on all, I'm more worried about offense than defense, to be honest, because I view Cat as like a very, very, very good offensive player. Like he's a 3-level scorer. He's one of the best offensive centers in NBA history. I think he should be doing more for this team on a every game basis than he has. Sometimes he disappears when Cat usually doesn't disappear. Like there's a whole lot of analytics and tape on Carl Anthony Towns. He's been in the league for 10 years. I sometimes when he disappeared during the game, I've never seen him act like he'd be acting sometimes during the game. Like he completely disappeared in one of them games that we played in recently. I forgot which one. But yeah, I think if anybody would be, if a player could be named that I'm disappointed about, maybe it's Carl Anthony Towns, but I wouldn't say like when it comes to like 1 to 10, worry level is like a 6 or a 7. It's not that high. I think there's plenty of time left. I still think he's going to end up being an all-star. But at the end of the day, I'm just worried about how he's going to act in the playoffs. Like you could disappoint me all you want to right now, but when June comes, when playoff time comes, I hope Carl Anthony Towns get to his usual Cat self.
Surprised that he's less a part of the offense this year than last year, or you feel like that's boding well for us? Like that's fine.
Nah, I think I'm definitely disappointed. Like when it comes to like his usage rate on offense, I want him to have the ball in his hands a lot more. I think Cat is an actual good playmaker with the ball in his hands too, not just shooting the ball. He's a good passer too. As of late, we haven't really been seeing any of that. I don't know what it is. Like it can't be a game plan thing. That's what I'm guessing. So I think it's him. I highly doubt like Mike Brown told him not give Carl Anthony Towns the ball. It doesn't really make sense. He's too good for that. So I think anytime Carl is not having a good game and he disappears, I think that's on him. I think he has enough cachet in this league already to demand the ball if he wanted to. It seemed like he's just, taking a step back.
Yeah. He definitely has a different role in this offense. Is
Mhm.
that fair to say? He definitely has a different role in this offense. He's just not featured. He's just, you know, um, and it's not even like, I mean, 1 or 2 games where I felt like he had the mismatch and it was like a concerted effort to get him the ball to take advantage of it. But it doesn't happen.
Right.
It doesn't happen all the time. Anybody want to piggyback off a Cat, or they have someone else who's
Well,
surprised
Cat.
you?
Well, the only thing with Cat is that to me it's like Cat at the top of the key, Cat lagging and behind the top of the key, Cat at the top of the key, Cat at the top of the key. So I just think it's a lot of just too much positioning up there where I thought we were, it was constructed he was going to move more. So I don't know if that's him as a player or the system or not emphasized. Hey, Cat, maybe hit the corners a little bit more. Maybe, backdoor under the basket somewhere, slide, slide across. But he seems to always be up there. And when you're in this one targeted position, teams can, scheme for that defensively. And it's what it seems like that,
But why
every
is he
time we
in
look.
that one position? What is like? Is that a schematic thing? Is that Like that's where we need like Lee or
Yes.
Freezy or somebody who understand
Yeah.
or our very own delusional, right?
Yeah.
To help us with that. Like is I mean like
David could tell us. David Smith could tell us.
right. And I get it. I get it. Cat has gravity, right? So when he's on the top of the key, you are pulling that center. If the center is playing him, you're pulling that center out the top of the key because the center has to guard him because he can't hit the three, right? And if the center is out the key, then you don't have that rim protection, and that does open up your offense, right? And allows you to have cutters and motion and movement. It opens up passing lanes. It opens up driving lanes. So I get it. Maybe that's it, but that can't be his only role. Is to stay on the top of the key, pull the center out, and um, open up offensive space for for everybody else. Now he can also hit the three. He can also drive from there. He's a very good passer, so he can also hit cutters from that spot. But Mike Brown said when he was hired, Brunson, he was going to make things easier for Brunson. He was going to move Cat around. Right? Things have been easier for Brunson. I don't know. Has Cat moved around much?
I don't know. I kind of think Cat's most effective up there, though. And I think that most of his moves are like, first of all, he's probably our best above the break 3-point shooter on the team. And so that's a good reason to have him up there. And secondly, I think when he catches the ball against another big, if they do have him out there, he beats them off the dribble. I mean, that's kind of his pet move. Like we talk about Towns a lot. Towns not a traditional back to the basket center. Like he has a couple of those moves to do, but he's not a banger down low. That's not really his game. And I think if we expect to see a lot of that, I think we're going to be disappointed. And the other thing is he's kind of slow getting back defensively. So if you have him positioned up at the top of the key, he has less to run getting back. But I think part of the problem defensively is a lot of times when he takes those hard drives to the hoop, doesn't matter make or miss, he's in, shaking hands with the cameraman afterwards. You know what I mean? He's always down on the deck, and then we're playing 5-on-4. I mean, that happens 3 or 4 times a game for sure. And so if we want to limit that, that's fine. But I think that, if you're talking about Cat as his most effective as an offensive player, I think that's kind of his wheelhouse. So I think that's kind of why he stays in those spots. Do you feel like there are other spots on the floor that he would really be super effective from compared with that? That's my honest question to you. Like, you see the game differently than I do. Is there like, do you see Towns and you're like, yeah, I really wish he got the ball at the elbow, or I really wish he got the ball, I wish he'd go to the corner and shoot the three, or I wish he'd, because I don't really see him. You just put him in the, with his back to the basket and you throw the ball to him like he's Patrick Ewing. I don't think that's his game. Like, I think he can do that maybe every once in a while, but he's much more of a finesse player. So to me, it makes more sense to have him in finesse roles where he can use his strength and his strong point. And I think that's really the best utilization of his game, even if I think he's been underutilized in general in the system.
Well, I just think that you give any coach too much of anything, and these guys are experienced enough to scheme to slow you down. They may not fully stop you, and that's what it seems like at times that they're doing to him. They're frustrating him with certain players that they may put him against. Because a lot of times, let's be honest, he doesn't go against the center. A lot of times he goes against power forwards. This team here, as far as the Spurs, they just happen to not really have real big size power forwards. But typically, that's what he's going against a lot. But if you don't move and you're doing the same thing, anybody, they'll eventually will figure you out. So I just think that it's just, he needs to move around a bit more, wherever it may be. Cat can shoot from the corner. It's not where he can't shoot from there. His percentage may not be as high, but then again, he doesn't have any attempts from there too much this year. If
But
you
do
look
you
at his
think that's
attempts, they're
him?
on top, right? Oh yeah,
Is
that's
that
the
him?
$1 million question. That's the
Is that
$1 million
him or
question.
is that scheme? Right?
But
That's yeah.
but if but if you're a player and like he's not like a he's not a new player. Like I just said, he's 10 years. He's got 10 years of experience. So at certain points, even as collaboration as me as a player, I'm going to say to my coach, hey, I'm up here a little too much. You know what I mean? Hey, let's move around. Let's do that. What's in here? As if the system calls for that. But like you said, that is the $1 million question though. And I honestly don't know that answer. So
Steph, to answer your question, I think from what everybody is saying, I think it will have to be a schematic thing. Like I think Karl Anthony Towns probably think or feels that he can score from anywhere. I don't think it's him that's telling him to just stay at the top of the key like that. I think it will have to be Mike Brown then. To be honest, like he's a 3-level scorer. He can score from anywhere he wants to. Like Cat can score from the camera, shaking hands with the camera, just like Jeff said. He can score from anywhere, like where people sell popcorn at. He can score from. Like it's up to the coach to put him in the best position for us to win, and him getting shots up, I think, is essential for us winning a championship. I don't think we can win a championship with. I don't think we can win a championship with Karl Anthony Towns being like a third or fourth option. Like he's too good for that. I don't think our third and fourth options are good enough to be seconds, not to win a championship.
Oh,
So
hold on. I don't have the roadcaster.
I'm
Shots
sorry.
fired.
Sorry.
Shots fired. I don't have the roadcaster. I don't have my sounds with me now. Oh, actually, they loaded into StreamYard now, so I might have to. So hold up, Snoop. So if I'm hearing you, so you basically saying that OG and Bridges, as well as they've been playing offensively, they not Cat.
No,
Let's not get it twisted with this equal opportunity offense after Brunson.
I don't think
That
they're the same. They should not
okay.
even be in the same. They're not in the same category at all when it comes to scoring. Not with Karl Anthony
Sorry.
Towns.
Who's that
Absolutely
underneath
not.
the table?
Like the reason
Sorry.
that he's an all-star, he started on the East for the all-star for a reason. It's not because of his defense. Karl Anthony Towns is Karl Anthony Towns. Them other dudes are the two-way players that's supposed to be consistent both ways and stuff like that. I don't ever expect OG Anunoby to get a 30-point game or Bridges. Not going into the game. If they do that, cool. I expect Karl Anthony Towns to be able to score anybody in the league because he's done it. He scored against anybody. He can score against anybody. There's not a team or a player on this league that can guard him on the other end of the floor. So whenever he has bad games or if he had bad stretches of games, it is on Karl Anthony Towns. It's not any coach defending him. Like he's not even the number one option on his team anymore. Well, he never was the number one option on his team, like Jalen Brunson always. So he's not even the number one option. He doesn't get double teamed. He should be able to score anytime he wants to. So it's on him.
It's on him, but do you feel like schematically that he should be featured more, or do you just feel like there's room for him in the offense as it presently is, and he just needs to be more assertive?
A little bit of both. I think we're so talented of a team that it could go both ways. I think we could win games with him not being featured, and we can win games with him being featured. That's how good we are. But schematically in the playoffs, I want him to get the ball. I do not expect OG Anunoby or Bridges to be the second option on this team if we're like in the finals. Because if that's if I have to count on them to be a consistent number two option on a championship team, we are not winning the championship. I don't even think that's why they were brought to this team in the first place. Cat was brought to this team. Like his salary calls for it, his position calls for it, his history, the way that he plays the game has called for it. He is a natural number two option on a championship team, if not a number one, if he's asserting himself. But once he goes, like if he's not going to be assertive or you're not going to use him and he's going to be the fourth and we got to count on OG and Bridges to be the second, oh, hell no. We're not going to win no championship like that. We won't get out the first or second round with playing like that.
Wow. I think, Jeff, this is kind of close to what you were saying this morning, if I'm not
Very much.
mistaken. So we can win games in the regular season with, maybe Bridges and OG, being number two options at times. But if we're talking about winning the championship, if I'm hearing you correctly, Towns needs to be that dude for us in the
Yes.
playoffs. I
He has
mean,
been, by the
I
way.
agree.
and
He
he
hit a
has.
huge 3 to beat Detroit. Like, let's
Exactly.
not forget, let's not act like he didn't have any good games in the playoffs for us. I mean,
He
Right.
was
ask David
really good in
Smith,
the
he'll have
playoffs.
all of the plus minus figures you can muster. He was our best plus minus player in the playoffs, and I don't love plus minus as a stat, but Towns hit some big shots in the postseason for us last year. I don't think we should minimize that at all. I'm not saying he was great in every game. I'm not even saying he was great in the Indiana series, but he definitely. I don't think we make it to the Eastern Conference Finals without Towns playing the way that he played overall in the playoffs. Would you agree with that?
I would go one step further. I think he did more than hit big games. He was pretty consistent. Maybe he had a bad game here and there, but I was really impressed because remember, what was the thinking about Carl Anthony Towns? Y'all giving up one player, Randall, who hasn't played well in the playoffs for another player who isn't known to play well in the playoffs. So I wasn't sure what to expect when we got to the playoffs. I thought Cat was engaged, better defensively. Um, I thought he was on. Listen. Everybody had it. Brunson had some bad games
Mhm.
in the playoffs, but overall, I thought Cat raised his level of play last season in the playoffs. I was impressed with Cat
We
in
need
the playoffs.
we need that cat in this playoffs. Like we just need that cat in order to win. Like you give us
But it
that
just
cat, then I'm straight.
Yeah, it says, but as just as Anthony Edwards has said, that's the same. It still rears his head. It's the fouls. If he can stay out of foul trouble, then you know what I mean. Those were the big points of us saying. But otherwise, when he was on the floor, he was productive during those playoffs. But the point is that he were committing silly fouls, which were limiting him at times during the playoffs. If he can cancel that out, he
But
does
don't you
become
feel
one of
like
the
they
most
let
valuable
you play a
players.
little more physical and let more of that stuff go in the postseason, or am I imagining that from the 90s?
Well, no, you're correct. You're correct in some ways, but Cat would then do real weird stuff. Remember, he would just turn around like to a guy that doesn't even have the ball and push the guy or trip the guy. He would do weird stuff like that.
Or
So
hook
then
that
that was
hook
the
last year. That
yes,
was the thing. I'm like, come like
yes,
every game there was a hook foul.
yes,
Captain Hook.
yes. The up under the arm. He would go up under the
Right,
arm,
right,
right?
right,
The up
right.
under the arm and take the guy all the way to the basket like this.
Just
It's come
like
on,
that. That was
Cat.
crazy, Nick Station. That was exactly like
You keep come on, you can't do that though. Come on, like you know what I mean. It was drive us crazy. If I had any here, it would be gone. So, but
You know what, Jarrell, I haven't thought about that. I haven't thought about that. Um,
Let's just
I
say
think,
this: Cat
mhm,
just had 40 last week.
no doubt.
He had 40 against Minnesota last week. So it's
and we
not.
lost.
Yeah, and we lost, right? So it's not about what Cat is capable of. We already know what Cat is capable of. But if we don't get that Cat, like what do we have him for?
But this is the thing, though, Jarrell. He has to be featured then. Like well, I guess the question is, does the coaching staff believe what you just said? Does the coaching staff believe that in order for us to win a championship, Cat has to be the second best player? Um, or do they believe that Brunson has to be the best player, and after that, it doesn't really matter who takes the shot? I agree with you. I think Cat has much more gravity than those other two guys. I think he puts much more pressure on the defense than those other two. You know, OG and Mikael Bridges, that if you feature him, particularly when he's playing against these small forwards, either you're going to let him go one on one and he's going to score if he's strong with the ball and not being floppy. Sometimes he's too floppy in those matchups. Either he's going to score get fouled or you're going to have to double team him, right? But I feel like the Knicks leave a lot of meat on the bone when it comes to Cat. Like they don't use him that way. And I'm just curious why not. And maybe somebody who understands schematics, um, you know, can help explain that. Maybe Mike Brown doesn't trust him enough. Maybe he feels like the other OG's shots, like I said earlier, is just as good. I'm not sure what it is, but you bring up a very good point. In the playoffs,
You think they saving them for the playoffs?
no, I don't think so.
The only reason I say that is because we're good enough to win games without featuring Karl Anthony Towns. We're just not good enough to win playoff series to do that, to me. Like, this is the regular season. Like, some of us don't even care about regular season games anymore. Like, we're waiting to get to the playoffs. So I don't know. It could be that they're trying to feature everybody else because, Cat can actually be fresh for the playoffs. You never know.
Yeah, yeah. Some people are Keys be me. Cat has to be the second best player if the Knicks hope to win a title. The playoffs are so different. Things tighten up. The guys with the not just with the skill level, but who've been battle tested. Like it's one thing to play off of a player and you're getting your shots off of someone, and it's another thing to be the key guy that they're keying on. And it's a different role. And
Right.
OG and Mikel, to your point, I mean Mikel was the guy in when he was in Brooklyn. They weren't a good team, but he knows what that's like. It's just different. It's easier when you getting your shots off of other guys, right? Than when you are the guy that's stirring the drink. It's gonna be interesting to see. But great point. Those guys can, help you win games in the regular season, but come playoff time, you know, the Knicks may have to feature Cat a bit more. A Train, it's not skills with Cat. Cat is smart. Yeah. I mean, it could also be. Listen, I can't feature a guy who we can't even count on because he's gonna be pick up two fouls and gonna be on the bench. Oh boy, that's that. Wow, thank you, Jarrell, for that. That's wow.
Well, Steph, I'm about to actually roll out.
Yep, appreciate you.
I hate to throw
Happy
a
New Year,
bomb
brother.
like that. I hate to throw a bomb like that and just step off the ship.
That's the way to do it.
That's the way to do it, brother. Appreciate you. Go out in style.
Well, salute to everybody, man. Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year to you too.
Once again, condolences to Jeff, to you and your
Yeah.
family. Prayers out to you tonight. Salute to everybody in chat, man. It's the new year for Dope Soul Sports Collective. Steph changed the title of the channel. I'm not the type of person who takes stuff like that lightly. We're all a collective. This is going into a new. It's a privilege to be on this panel. It's a privilege to even type in the chat. It's a privilege to even wake up in the morning, man. Everybody should just, enjoy the new year. Hopefully, everybody have a nice 2026, and I'll see y'all next week.
See you next week, brother.
Peace.
Peace.
Oh, hold on. I clicked the wrong
Happy
button.
New Year. All right.
All right.
Anybody else before we get into what we want to see going forward? Anybody else that surprised you? Any signing that surprised you? Any signing that didn't work out?
What's name
That wanna
surprised
talk-
me, I believe. Clarkson. I thought it would take more time for him to buy in as far as how he's being utilized and him buying into playing defense consistently. I thought he would be a guy that would just give, some effort and then would fall off immediately. But he looks to be trying to do his best. He didn't have to play so much defense in Utah, and now he's being asked of it, and he's given it. To me, it looks like he's giving it his all. So I'm surprised that he bought in so quickly.
Was he a signing? Were you happy with the signing? Were you concerned with the signing? Were you like, I don't know if this is the best fit for the Knicks. What were you thinking when the Knicks signed him?
Well, my thinking was defense. I knew that we all knew that Clarkson could score and score on anybody. He at times can be like a true highlight reel. He can, he could just get hot, and he's a guy that can just light you up for 32 points real quick. But he could also give up 26 or 30 something on the other end too. So that was my concern was the defense. But like I say, he's bought in, and he's given it his best effort. It takes a while to build that up, and then especially learning a new scheme, of how this coach wants you to play particular defense. And I think early on, you saw his frustrations because he was getting pulled a few times, and Mike Brown would immediately talk to him, and you could see him sulk a little bit. But now it looks like he's fully bought in, and he's on point. And there's times where his offense, games aren't there, but then there's times where he is. But I still seen him give full effort on defense. And if you're still giving full effort on defense at times, that's as much as sometimes we can ask for.
I'm not the biggest Jordan fan, but all right. Mama said if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. But no, I actually have been impressed with Jordan Clarkson. I think that he provides something this team needs. He's a frustrating player to watch at times, but as Nick Nation absolutely stated, he's been good on defense. We've been able to play small lineups where he's even playing the three at times, which is fascinating to me. Not something I would have even tried, much less thought would work, and has been okay. You have to understand he's a streaky player, but come the playoffs, I think he's going to be a valuable player for this team because he does, other than Jalen Brunson, he's the only one who has that in his bag, in my opinion. Although I will say Tyler Kolek looks like he may be developing a little bit of that streak in him too. I've seen some of the drives that he's made to the basket have been impressive, but I think that Kolek is more likely to get schemed away in the playoffs. Clarkson, you can't really scheme away because he does some fascinating athletically, like how did he even make that shot kind of stuff, and that's an NBA skill in and of itself. So I actually think Clarkson is going to be a really big key for this team in the postseason coming off the bench.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, I would say Mikal Bridges has impressed, but then there are also games where I feel like there's more in the bag for him too than we're getting on a nightly basis, particularly when other guys are out. I don't know why. I just expect Bridges to step up, and I think his game is just slow and steady. I'm just going to get what I get within the flow of the offense, and if 14 guys are out and I'm the only guy left, I'm still going to get what I get within the flow of the offense. And there's some times where I just want him to be a bit more assertive, a bit more, um, you know, aggressive. Like he's still impactful. Don't get me wrong, he's still impactful. Um, but he had a great stretch where he was good offensively, he was good defensively, he was involved. And lately I just feel like it's like I'm good. Y'all just go ahead. I'm good. If it comes to me, I'll take it. If it doesn't, it's good. You need a shot, Kolick? Oh, I'm open. Let me pass it over here to Diawara because he's a little more open. You're open. You know what I mean? But no, I'm going to pass it because this guy's like another inch more open than me. I don't know. Just you think I'm nitpicking in terms of Mikal Bridges in terms of wanting a little bit more you know, um, in some games, like even the Minnesota game. Thank goodness Carl Anthony Towns had 684 points. We still lost, but I thought Bridges would be a bit more assertive in that game also. Um, but so yeah, I would say Bridges. I'm kind of surprised in a good way, particularly early in the season, and a little. I wouldn't say concerned. I think I'm just kind of beginning to understand who Mikal Bridges is and how he likes to play. And this is just what it is.
Here's the thing about Bridges, though. One thing that he is consistent in, availability. Guy doesn't miss a game. Knock on all the wood. But there's something to be said for a guy that's played all 33 games. And Clarkson has 2, by the way, so credit to him for that as well. But when you have a guy who brings his lunch pail every game and he's always in the lineup and you can rely on that. Imagine if Mitchell Robinson had that level of reliability, right? He'd probably be defensive player of the year, but he isn't and he doesn't. So, I think that's one of the things that we take for granted, but I love the way that Mikal Bridges has played. He had a 10 assist game the other night, which I think was phenomenal. It speaks to his ability as a secondary playmaker. He's still hitting shots at a high level. If you want to argue that he doesn't take enough of them sometimes, I'm not going to dispute that. For those who want him to be take a lot of contact in the paint kind of a player, you're going to be disappointed because that's not who he is, but he doesn't need to be that. And I think that's actually one of the reasons why he's able to play 82 games is because he knows how to not take that kind of punishment on his body unless necessary. But I think he's finished at the rim pretty well this year. His corner 3-point shooting is elite. And I think he's actually been better above the break this year than he has been in seasons past, which has really been a weakness of his game. So his 3-point shooting has been good. He's still the king of the mid-range in my mind. I love it when he takes that. Anytime he takes that fall away midi, I think it's going in. Anytime he misses that shot, I'm literally shocked. So I think Bridges has played at an all-star level this year. A lot of people may disagree with that, but I don't think he scores enough points consistently enough to reach that accolade. But I really do think that he's played like an all-star for this team this year.
Yeah, I think he's a great conduit.
I would say more so, in my opinion, Jeff, earlier in the season than of late.
Fair.
But yeah.
He's a great conduit. He's a great conduit. Yeah, I just think he's a great conduit as far as how the offense actually runs and moves. He's always the guy like bridging things in between.
Yes.
And his consistent movement. I think he has a great correlation with Kolick. Those two seem to work well together as far as movement. And I'm still fascinated that he somehow is running and still moving as he takes his 3-point shots. I'm fascinated on how he still can be consistent with that shot, because a lot of times most shooters, the thing is at one point to set your feet and take that shot. He's literally running still as he catches that ball and his feet are actually still moving. He never really sets. And the shot, he's in motion and the shot, and he's consistent with it. So to me, I'm just like, wow. To me, it's one of the fastest and quickest shots where I think it's just too hard to like block a guy's shot like that because he's literally still on the move. So there's certain little things that I am fascinated at how he can do. And to me, he's still, like you say, that bridge between Hart, Brunson, that combination of that old college theme, you know what I mean? And you see it act, and you see where these guys hit them on a backdoor play. You see at certain times where he'll drop a pass off. And it's just that I think that's like a value that we can't really, I don't want to see us lose. I tell you that. And I'm grateful that he's at least consistent. I've already, like Jeff said, I've already committed to that point where he will not be that physical player on offense. He will not be the guy to draw fouls, as much as we want that from him, because I think it makes the team overall better. He's not the guy. That's not the guy you're going to look for that. So, but for me, I'm actually happy where he's playing, and he's given his best point too on defense. And as much as we bitch and moan about what's name, the NBA is tough. The way that these guys can manipulate players, it is tough. So he's been consistent.
And one other thing about defensively, remember we've been missing our point of attack defenders in the last week and a half, 2 weeks or so, and that's not his strength as a defender. Is taking the main ball handler on the other team. When we have Deuce guarding the point of attack and he gets to slide over and be that help defender, he's elite at that. That he and Anunoby are two of the best in basketball at doing that. But if you're asking him to chase around a smaller guy and really try and lock and shut that person down, that's not I think we have a large enough sample size to say that's definitely not Bridges' game. But if you think about the Boston series where he just like stole Jason Tatum's soul when he ripped that ball away from him, like that's an elite one-on-one play. Then you have when Mitch guarded all 5 players on the floor, who is it that comes up with the weak side block shot? It's Bridges, right? And so we see a lot of those, and even during this stretch, it's calmed down some. But you've noticed that when he's allowed to play as that help defender, you see his stocks at between 3 and 4 per game, and then when he's at level, that really changes the equation for this Knicks team, I think. And so, I think the absence of Deuce McBride and really the insertion of Kolek, because he's a completely different player. He's a good player, but he doesn't provide any of the same things really. So I think that's altered his defensive impact quite a bit from when we have a fully healthy squad.
Yeah. Anna Grow One said Bridges is not suited to be a point of attack defender. Good point. Okay. All right. I want to get into where are we at? We're already at hour 16. I do want to spend some time on what you want to see from the Knicks in 2026. But I want to talk briefly about the young guys.
Don't forget we have Wiz, right?
Oh, is Wiz yes. Is Wiz whizzing? Is Wiz whizzing around? Wiz, are you still in the chat? Let us know so I can drop the link. Who of the young guys, if you had to pick, or you can either pick one or you could rank them, do you think is going to give you really good playoff minutes?
Go ahead, Nick Nation.
Ooh, if I had to pick, I'm still gonna say Kolek, and the reason why I'm gonna say Kolek because I think just passing transitions regardless. I think his eye transitions regardless. The others, I don't know, but so if I had to pick somebody, I'm gonna lean toward Kolek. I just think he has a good IQ. I think he has that toughness about him. I think when guys are talking, I think when the lights are turned up and stuff like that, I think that he'll be ready by that time. I think if man, I ain't gonna say he's ready now, but I think that the minutes that he gets moving forward and the stiff coaching that he gets as well, I think will prepare him a little bit more than some of the other guys. Because just like they reported and said, Mike Brown does have a tendency to talk through him, you know what I mean, for other players, which is right. Because if he is out there in the point of control, yeah, you should talk to, you know what I mean, literally talk to him. And if it's harsh and it comes off, he doesn't seem like a guy who cowers away from that. So he's mature enough. He's played in a lot of big games in college. I think that he might have the chance, even though I gotta give Diawara because he seems like one of those guys where he's unconscious about certain things and he tends to always be in the right place. I just think that the playoffs might be a bit much for him. But if I had to pick, I'm still going to lean toward Kolek.
Jack?
I think we need to change Nick Nation's handle to EF Hutton because when this man talk, everybody that's my guy right there. That's some great analysis right there. No, I'm not blowing smoke or anything like that. I don't do that, but that's some great analysis. I kind of agree with him, but just so we don't have a talking head here, I think it's Huck Porty because Ariel has a skill set and we have size issues sometimes. Cat gets in foul trouble. So I think Huck Porty can be very plug and play. I know 2 games ago he had the quadruple zero or whatever you call it, or the quadruple zero. We used to call it in my house. My dad called it a Shawnee, named after Sean Bradley. Anytime you had more fouls and turnovers than points and rebounds, it was called a Shawnee. So we called them Shawnees back at my place. But he bounced back. I think he had 6 rebounds in like 8 minutes or something like that the other night.
14 minutes and 6.6 rebounds, some assists, steals, block.
Yeah. And I think he's a decent screen setter as well. So I think he does a lot of the things that, I mean, he's not the rim protector that Mitchell Robinson is, but he does a lot of things that are really positive for this Knicks team. And I think he has a more consistent role that he can fill. In other words, I'm not sure that we'll need Kolick as much with some of our other guys on the roster as I could see scenarios. I think Mitch will be playing every night, but I could see some scenarios with foul trouble and those sorts of things that you might see that. But I also want to echo what Nick Nation said about Diawara. This kid, very basketball savvy. I just, his IQ is off the charts. I mean, he really makes a lot of good plays, and if he's shooting the ball well, which he's kind of hit a little bit of a hot streak, then he's certainly playable. And I know he's on a 2-way contract, so he's limited to 50 games for us. But McCullough has a nice game to him, a nice feel about the game. Also, McCullough would have been a lottery pick if he hadn't injured himself in his senior year at Kansas. He was literally a top 15 pick that got hurt, and he dropped into the second round, and the Knicks were able to take a chance on him, and he took a whole year to rehab his body, right, to get right, and he got healthy, and then he started to really show up in the G League at the beginning of this season, and when he's been on the court, you've seen a lot of nice things from him. I think he too,
the tie up, we didn't talk about that this morning, right? We lost the tip, but just for him to come in and get the tie up, and we have an opportunity.
Absolutely. Just the little things, but I also think he's a little bit of a shooter. He kind of reminds me of Josh Hart Jr. in a way. Like he's like a poor man's Josh right now. And you never know, he could, if, eventually grow into that role, or maybe even better, with, in a couple seasons. But I like, as far as raw talent is concerned, I think it goes McCullough and Diawara at the top. But if you're talking about just in terms of guys who could impact in the playoffs and plug and play this year, the answer is probably Kolick and Huck Porty in my answer. And those 2 other guys, where I think their ceiling is much higher, I'm not sure that their floor is solid enough yet that I would fully trust them. Maybe Mike Brown does. I don't know, but only time will tell on that. But I really like McCullough's game. I think he and Diawara eventually are going to be the size off the bench that we crave. I think it may be a season away on that. I don't know if they're going to be able to contribute that this season, but if they are able to, that just increases our title chances, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, I think any one of them on any given game could come in and give you positive minutes. I think I'm going to go with Huck Porty also, because a center coming in, right, his role is limited. Like, we're not asking him to score, get down in the post, or right. We're just asking him to come in, set good screens, play good defense, be where you're supposed to be, rebound the ball. Kolick, if he's coming in as the backup point guard in the 6 minutes that Brunson's probably not going to be on the floor in the in the playoffs, to me that's much more of an important spot than Huck Porty coming in because Towns got into foul trouble. Like, he's not going to be asked to do much, and so even though I think Kolick has the higher floor of pretty much everybody on the team right now in terms of how they're playing. Not necessarily overall, but in terms of how they're playing. Kolick has showed the most, in my opinion. He's played the best, in my opinion. But in the playoffs, he will be tasked uh, differently than a Porty, right? And so I would feel much more confident than Porty than Kolick, if that makes sense, even though Kolick has played better, only because of the position that they would be put in. But I think any one of them can come in and give you spot minutes. I still consider Diawara raw, even though he's had good shooting over the past 2 games. I still think he has some growing to do. I think there's going to be some ups and downs with him. I think he has a higher. You can argue that he has the highest ceiling of them all, but probably the lowest floor too. Like I don't think his floor is as high as Kolick, in
And I
my
guess the
opinion.
disappointment is that nobody mentioned Paycom Daddier, right? Like he didn't even
Uh,
cross our lip, right?
No.
Former first round pick. I think that speaks volumes as to where everybody is
Yeah.
ranking on the list. But that's fascinating to me at the same time as well. So, but I think that's a great point, Steph.
Yeah. But we'll see. I think the other question, we'll talk about this as we get closer to the deadline in terms of, I think the Knicks need, they're not going to be able to get all three. But it would be great if the Knicks can get more ball handling on this team, if the Knicks can get, a wing with size on this team, if the Knicks can get an insurance big, um, on this team, all of those things would be great and a luxury actually. But some will argue that the Knicks already have that, right, in Kolick, Diawara, and Porty. And so there's no need at the trade deadline to do anything. So we'll talk about that as we get closer to, um, the deadline. Anything else about the young guys before we get into Wiz? Let me know if you're ready. Did he? You know.
They're ready. The kids are ready.
Right.
Stop playing for 'em.
They're always ready.
You know, before we get into what we want to see from the Knicks, other than the championship, what are our New Year's resolutions for the Knicks? But anything else on the young guys before we get into that?
Not for me.
No, not for me.
All right. Oh, ready when you are. Should we?
Drop the link. Let's get them in here. I'll be right back. I gotta take care of something.
All right.
I think what my resolution is.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm trying to think here. My resolution for the Knicks. Well, first, my resolution is for me to calm down and not be a crazy Knick fan before my ticker goes here. So that's one of my first points of resolution. But I think I've handled it better. Each year, I get a little bit better, especially since I've moved from New York when I was more stressed about it for some reason. I don't know why. But as far as a resolution, as far as the team is consistent, like I say, I'm really happy with where we are, and I think my resolution is more just to continue what we're doing and do not go away from playing, the youth. Find a way, if he can find a way, with these players coming back, to still get some of these guys some solid minutes. Even if it's, every other night, or if it's more home game based, just if he can find a way. Because somehow he's able to, this season so far, he's worked the magic, and he can continue working that magic. Because, the other night we played 12 players. Has Tibbs ever played 12 players? Did he ever play 12 players? What's name? That was like not a thing.
You take his first season, he played 6, and his second season, he played 6. So he definitely played 12 players.
In 2 years. Okay, that's different. But yeah, things like that, So it's if we can continue down that path, I think the cohesiveness and how people say where teams are on a string. I think if we can keep going like that, we'll see that, us on a string. Because even the other night when we played the Spurs, I want to say about 30 minutes of that game, 30, 35 minutes of that game, you see the guys moving on that shift and giving second points of effort. There was just certain points where they lapsed. And when that points have lapsed is when that teams, they came back on us. So I think if, you know what I mean, that's another point of our resolution is that hopefully these Knicks, they can learn to stay on that string of defense consistently for the full 48 minutes and not lapse off. And that's what happened to us. We lapsed on defense and they ate us up between Champagne and Luke. I think they, down the stretch. And then let's not forget, we had nobody to defend or slow him down. What's the fast kid from the Kings? I forget the guard's name, but he killed us. Fox ate us up. So things like that, we need to be able to sometime knock these guys off their center point. So if we can find ways, or some players that step up and take it personal. I remember when I was out in the basketball court, if a guy's dropping that much, I took it personal. And that guy, he's gonna feel a little bit. But this is a different team.
It's not the 1990s anymore, Nick. You can't be dropped.
Right.
Thrown out the game nowadays. I know what you mean, though.
You know what I mean? I was born 1968. This is how it happens. So, you know what I mean?
Right. We're gonna finish this round of questioning, and then we'll get to your fandom, and you're welcome to join in on this question as well. In terms of our welcome to the show, by the way, and Happy New Year for you, and thank you so much for being a supporter of the show from the beginning. I really appreciate that. That's not lost on me. Going all the way back to Blanche Tears, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yes,
thank you
correct.
for that. So we're going to continue this round of questioning. Any New Year's resolutions you have for the Knicks and for yourself, if you want to add that in, and then we'll get into your fandom. So, yeah, do you have any New Year's resolutions for the Knicks, Wiz?
Oh man! First of all, let me bow down, Queen. When I first started, I said the Queen. Remember, my greeting was always
Yeah.
the Queen is always right, even when she's wrong. She's logically correct, even though her logic was on the right path. So I want to say, hail to you. Thank you for this platform. I clock in 6 a.m. I used to come on at 6 a.m. when you're thinking, I'm like, why is Queen? Oh man, I try to stay away. Even this morning, I was like, it's too early, Queen. But I was like, I gotta hear it. And then, of course, first of all, Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year, Wiz.
It's a beautiful start to the year, even though it ended where, my heart goes out to you. I'm a mama's boy, so I just want to say to Jeff, my prayers go to you and your family. I know she's going to be watching you, and you're going to have a victorious, amazing rest of your life, celebrating life, because that's what she's left you and she gave to you. Of course, Big Nation. Oh man. Greetings.
Used to see you on Saturdays.
Yes, sir. From Lawrence Tears, I jumped on. So first, I want to acknowledge it, and I want to tell you my appreciation. Right away, resolution for the Knicks. I'm going to stick to my guns. 6-2 victories, NBA Finals, six games minimum, if not the whole shebang. I'm not going to call championship yet, but I'm going NBA Finals. 6 games, New York Knicks, 3 All-Stars. I'm backing a little bit away, but OG's going to step back up. I want those 3 All-Stars, and I want to have 3 All-NBA.
Do you have the 3, or it doesn't matter?
No, ideally Brunson, Cat, and OG. But I can see McCall can slip in there as well if he can, do a few things. But I'm going to keep those 3 right now. And then 3 All-NBA, same group, and then all defense. I want Mikal and OG to get there. That's my resolution for the Knicks. Ooh. So I'll share my personal, what I'm shared by
my
Knick fandom.
Yeah, we'll get into that. Like that's Wow, he won a lot. Nigga, what's your New
He
Year's
came out
resolution? I
smoking.
want a Bentley. You know what I mean? Like, he's like,
Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz? Says the Wiz.
wow. 2 All NBA, 3 All Stars, 3 All NBA, 2 defensive
Yes.
first team or
All
any team?
any
All
team,
de-
any team. Same
any
with all
team.
NBA, any team.
Any team.
Yep.
Oh
Yes.
wow, that's great. And to the NBA Finals, 6 games. If they
Minimum,
don't win it,
yes.
they play. They it went to 6.
They
Okay,
go to
all
at
right,
least 6, yes.
all right,
Yes.
all right.
Okay.
Wow, Jeff
Sorry, Coach of the Year.
and
One
Coach
more.
of the Year.
Coach of the
Whoa,
Year.
whoa.
Partridge in a pear tree.
Exactly.
Is there anything left for me to say?
I
I
was
don't
saying,
know.
what has Brown done?
Right.
I'm
What has
teasing.
Brown done for you? We're gonna be like, this is what he's done for us. That's gonna be the question.
I'm teasing. Thank you, Wiz. I love the energy. I want to talk about Mitchell Robinson. My New Year's resolution is that all of the load management and the rest and everything else leads to us getting the fully realized, maximized version of Robinson in playoff time. The guy who dominated the Cleveland series a couple years ago, the guy who was really impactful in helping us beat Philadelphia as well. And so that's really what I want to see, is that Robinson really gets an opportunity to play meaningful minutes down the stretch and be a legitimate part of this run that we're on, because I really feel like in a lot of ways he's an elite player who when you can have a guy who is elite at certain skills and doesn't require the ball to be in his hands, I really think that especially come the playoffs, that's invaluable. And so I feel like if with a healthy Robinson who can give us up to 30 minutes in a game, that increases the ceiling of this ball club. I guess also I would say that I would like to see Jalen, be a little bit more of a distributor, and kind of take some cues from Tyler Kolek when it comes to the pick and roll. With Karl Anthony Towns in particular, I really like how the Kolek Cat pick and roll looks. I think that Brunson is capable of running it at a much more elite level because he's a much more dangerous shooter. But I think that those two need to build some chemistry, figure out how to trust each other more. And again, this is just about stuff that I feel like maximizes the margins for this team, because I really feel like they're doing a lot of things well right now, and it's just about the margins. And the other thing is I would kind of like to see us make a small trade deadline move to bring in somebody to address one of our weaknesses. What that looks like and who that is, I'm not sure, but just to have an extra guy in here that I feel more comfortable that I can rely upon when the stage gets brighter and the lights are and the pressure are at their peak and you're in your high leverage moments. I would really like to see just one more guy if you can get him at a reasonable price.
Okay. All right. Wow. I don't know. I don't know if you guys left anything on the pork chop bone for me. You guys pretty much, said it all. I think my resolution for the Knicks is that Mike Brown is a difference maker in the playoffs. Now, obviously, it's not all on the coach. The players have to play. But my New Year's resolution is that when we get into the playoffs, Mike Brown is cooking in terms of lineups, in terms of in-game adjustments, and in terms of schemes, right? Like that is like that you're putting this team in the best position to win a possession, to win a quarter, to win a game. They may miss shots, they may not come through, but you had the appropriate lineup in for what the other team had. You call the necessary adjustment. If they don't execute it, they don't execute it. But Mike Brown is cooking in the playoffs. That is really one thing I'm looking forward to see in the playoffs. I think that's going to make a difference for us. And the second resolution I have for the rest of the season is that Karl Anthony Towns takes his rightful position in our offense. Yeah, takes his right. I've gone back and forth, Jeff. We've had the morning shows. I've kind of gone back and forth on Cat. Just get it how you get it, because sometimes he just looks unreliable, and I'm not setting up an offense for you and featuring you and you flopping all over the play, right? And then I'll go back to, this guy is so talented, he can't just be an afterthought. So I've gone back and forth with this, but Jeff Jarrell made a really, really good point. We might be able to win games with these other guys, but if you're talking about winning a championship, your best players have to be featured and come through for you. And so that's my resolution for the Knicks, is that Karl Anthony Towns takes his rightful place in his offense and delivers for us.
I want to trade you. Those are great points. I trade your resolutions.
I know.
Great points. I trade.
That's why she's the queen.
I agree. 100%.
Always.
Yeah. And let me just get to some resolutions from the chat, and then Wiz, we're back to you. A-Train, my resolution is to afford a Knicks ticket again. A-Train, we love A-Train because not only does she have good basketball knowledge and we love her takes, but she is our resident comedian, providing the comic relief on the show. We appreciate you.
You better get the infinite money glitch if you want to get Knicks tickets again.
Right. All right. APAC 1586, Karl Anthony Towns got us doing a lot of wishing. Yeah.
I'm going to give you a torch.
Okay, let me see.
But APAP, when you wish upon a star, your dreams come true. That's what the folks at Disney told me.
Right. I don't see any resolute. I think that was the only one. Okay, A-Train has another one. I want to see Jalen take care of the ball in pivotal fourth quarter minutes. 21 turnovers in 28 games during the fourth quarter. She bringing out the stats, family. She's bringing out the stats, family.
That's part of what I was talking about too, A-Train. Great poll there on the stat.
Yeah.
We appreciate that. That's it. Wiz ran those numbers like he's placing an order. I'm not mad at you.
I've been dreaming about that from the start of the season.
Place that order. If they give it to us, we'll take it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I got my credit card in, paid for. Boom.
Okay. All right. I'm not seeing any other resolutions, so we're gonna let Wiz. So this is our segment where we let fans. Hold on 1 second. I gotta regulate softly.
Okay.
Regulators mount up, she said.
Regulate.
That's where we break out the paddle when we were young, remember? They bring out the paddle on you.
Oh, I forgot the super chat, or is this new? I pray Towns does not have a Charles Smith moment in the playoffs.
Don't even say that. Please don't say that. Please. I'm still upset. Please don't say that. It feels like yesterday.
Still hurts.
Towns. Nah. Towns ain't nah. When Charles Smith came, I was like, I don't know how he's gonna work. I don't have those concerns about Towns in the playoffs. I don't. Anyway, this is our segment where we allow fans to come on talk about their Knick fandom. However you want to do it. Who's your favorite Knick? When you started watching the Knicks, you could go in any direction you want to go. And then if you want, you can also talk to us a little bit about, your impressions of the Knicks so far, if you want. Wiz, aka no Wisdom, aka Wiz. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Queen. First, I'm going to start on a good note because that last statement about that guy who missed a few layups brought me tears to my heart. But today I got a text from my neighbor she's about 70. I help her out all the time. I drive her places. I move furniture for her. She told me a month ago. My other neighbor, by the way, on the other side is uh, works for CSA. He's a Nuggets fan, by the way, who we always beat, by the way. So that's all a good thing. But she told us the other day we were talking about sports, and she goes, "Oh yeah, I saw the Luca game. Oh, when Luca got drafted that day, she's going to the game. You go to the Luca at late. You go to the Luca first game. I got a ticket." She goes, "Oh, I've been a season ticket holder for like 40 years. Season tickets for the 40 years. She's been my neighbor for 20 years. Never once mentioned she has season tickets that she does not go to every game. But today, she sent me a Happy New Year. By the way, Frank, which game do you want to go to with the Lakers this year? I'm going to let you have a ticket." Of course, I'm picking New York Knicks game, so that's good news. I'm going to bracket it by now going back to where I want to start off with. My first New York Knicks, when I first fell in love with the Knicks. How I met the Knicks. 1976, first summer moving here permanently to the United States from Jamaica, man. Straight out of Kingston. And never, I played basketball in Jamaica. I was like, about 10 years old or so. I played, and we were getting ready to say, "You're going to be a good point guard." Because I was about five, I was always small for my size. But in high school, I was like 5'4", 5'5", all the way through to 11th grade. Then I had a growth spurt to 6 feet between the summer of junior year and senior year. Then I had another growth spurt to 6'3", freshman year of college. But as a point guard. And so, of course, my mom loves her some Walt Frazier. Never saw a Knick game. Didn't WWO, that was it, Channel 9 had the game or something. I never saw even a game on TV. But when my dad comes by, calls me up, "Hey, you want to go to the Knicks game?" I go, "What? I've never been to the Knicks. I didn't even see them play." Went to Madison Square Garden. The lights of the garden, people flowing in. It felt electric. Never been inside an arena because I've been to Jamaica National Stadium, but it's open, it's a soccer stadium, football stadium. But inside the arena, I'm like, something this big, you can play basketball inside in this big thing. It was amazing. I looked around, I was overwhelmed with joy. The game goes, close game, 5 seconds left in the game. I see Walt Fisher, first of all, playing. This is the last year, by the way, of Walt, Earl Monroe, Bradley. I'm talking about Phil Jackson. I mean, all the guys were about to leave, fading out. And Lonnie Shelton got drafted that year. By the way, second round, we gave away a first rounder. Sound familiar? We gave away a first round before. It was a second round draft pick, first draft pick. And by the way, there were 10 rounds that year. We drafted Lonnie Shelton, our first draft pick for that year. Second round, and 5 seconds left. Walt Frazier inbound. I'm like, I'm gonna watch Walt or Earl. He passed to the rookie. The rookie was playing, by the way, Tibbs. This is like in October. The rookie was playing at Lonnie Shelton, top of the key, balls in the air, held your breath, swish. The heart goes off. We win on a buzzer beater by Lonnie Shelton in his rookie year. First year with the Knicks. That was my start. After that, it's over. My heart was like, I don't care about girls. I don't care about cars. I don't care about school. I'm in love with this team. The New York Knicks won my heart that day. Then, of course, the next year they broke it because they were like 30 wins next year. Then they went to like 4. Then they went back and forth until Bernard King. Oh, Bob McAdoo showed up. And that guy was smooth. I like McAdoo. But when Bernard King showed up a few years later, I was like, I am a Knicks fan. I am a Knicks fan. I'm going to go to every game I can. And by the way, my record at the Garden, perfect record. I haven't counted how many games I went to. Never saw a losing game at Madison Square Garden by my New York Knickerbockers. I want to call up and say, give me free tickets, season tickets for the year, because we can go 42 and 41 and 0 at the Garden if I went. So I'm just trying to say, put it out there in Knicks universe. When I go to Knicks games at the Garden, never saw them lose. So Bernard King, 50. I mean, I'm like, what? He was special. And lucky enough, when he hurt his finger, by the way, he went to King's Plaza to sign autographs. I made it there on the bus from East Flat because, I'm Jamaican, on East Flatbush. We have to ride some Church Avenue and some party and stuff. So I ate some jerk chicken and some curry goat and something, and I went
You
to
took the
King's
dollar
Plaza.
van? You took the dollar van?
Actually, I probably
He
did.
You know he did. You know he
Yes.
did.
All the,
You took her. 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 You took her.
Exactly.
You took her.
So I got to King's Plaza, stood in line, walked up. I said, Bernard King is my favorite player. I have the autograph. My mom has autographed picture in her house in Florida right now. Still, he autographed it. I go, how's the figure? He goes, oh man, it's getting better, man. It's getting better. I'm like, well, thank you, Bernard. I love the Knicks, and you're my favorite player. That was my first encounter. Next year, boom, he's gone. Patrick Ewing shows up. So in some ways, a yard man, a Jamaican, shows up to help the Knicks to save the day. Bernard was almost outside of mind almost right away. But deep down, I wish he was still there. But Patrick came, and Jamaicans celebrated in Brooklyn. We got a Jamaican in the league. And he came to save us from Georgetown. And that man was masterful.
Yes, he was.
The Pink Teacup, a little coffee place in downtown in the East Village.
On Hudson Street.
Yeah, me and my girl were having breakfast that one day. Drink some teacup with a pink in the air. In walks Patrick Ewing. I looked up, I'm like, Patrick. He goes, what's up, man? I stood up and he said, come here, man. Yard man. We're greeting each other. I wanted to buy him breakfast. I'm like, no, he makes too much money. I can't buy him breakfast. But I just got to meet Patrick Ewing and celebrated after they, first year, but slowly but surely celebrated my New York Knicks and Patrick leading the way and kept us in the winning column 50 games, 56 games. I was like, what? We're never going to lose. I'm going to beat Michael one day. We're going to beat the Bulls. We're going to beat the Pistons because those are our nemesis, right? The Eastern Conference was those guys because Magic and Bird were fading and Patrick and, of course, Dominique and them are coming and Michael and damn, the Bulls were there in our way. And it was heartbreaking to get there over and over and just can't get past to the finals. We just want to get to the finals. That's all I wanted. Get to the finals. Because I do get to the finals, we have a chance. Of course, Michael took that couple years off. We got to the finals. This is it. Akeem Olajuwon. Who was that? What was that? That was a freak of nature. He could do everything. He was smooth. He was tall. He was African, man. So I guess the motherland came through and beat the island, man. So I guess the Africa is bigger than Jamaica. So let him go. And then, of course, I went through. Then Michael came back. And I'm like, there we go again. Michael's back. Another three straight. Another three-peat. Then, of course, the Admiral and San Antonio. Oh, jeez. I'm just no luck. Poor Patrick. Knees were gone. Big old knee pads on there. And you saw him struggle to stand up. And I'm like, but of course, I didn't miss one moment. I even enjoyed Charles' layup attempt. 6'10", long arms. I'm like, dunk the ball. Get a foul. Nothing. Keep on trying to do a layup. Guess what? A week later, New York City subway, Utica and Eastern Parkway. I get on the train. 2 stops later, Park Slope. Who gets on? Charles Smith.
Wow.
And
They wouldn't even let him take a taxi in the city anymore. He had to get on the train.
No one's talking to him. And I wanted to walk about. I'm like, what can you say to the man that's cost us a championship? What can I say to him? So I just stood back. I just kind of like nodded to him. but I wanted to shake my head. I couldn't do it. I said, I can't embarrass him, but I couldn't say a word because my heart was broken. I'm like, oh, man. And then John Starks came through, the grocery packing young man, non-drafted, just gave everyone hope because he was like that underdog that just showed up and was doing stuff we couldn't believe. The dunk, that dunk, the dunk, beautiful.
Dunk.
The 3-point shot, but then he breaks our heart because he couldn't hit the backboard. He couldn't hit the side of nothing. He kept on missing and missing. Was it Riley was a coach? Was Pat Riley the coach that
Riley
left
was
him
the
in?
coach.
Indeed. Left him in,
Mhm.
and they kept passing him the ball. At
I
some point,
know.
he come off that screen. You got to turn your head and
I,
look
you
the
gotta.
other way.
Oh,
Yeah.
heartbreak. I mean, but still, I'm a Knicks fan. I was still happy. And then I came out to the Wild Wild West. By the way, everything I'm talking about, I was gonna play a soundtrack to it. I was gonna play my Sugar Hill Gang in the start. I was gonna play my Off the Wall and my Michael Jackson, beat it, and some Thriller. I was gonna come back with some cool Mo D. I was gonna come back, but everything's a soundtrack to me. By the way, my whole life is a soundtrack. I went through the 70s. Of course, was John Travolta because Walt Frazier with his outfit. By the way, I thought Walt Frazier was my dad because my mom loved him so much. I was like, I wonder where was he back in the 60s? Did Walt Frazier come to Jamaica back in the 60s? Because he could be my dad. And but anyway, all the way through till the early 2000s, I came west. When I came west, right when Kobe, Shaq. So it wasn't like I abandoned my Knicks, but it was watching this team. I mean, yes, the showtime was amazing, but Shaq and Kobe, and I got tickets to the games. It wasn't. I got to the games. I got to watch them. I even got a sideline seat once. And my friend was a ticket sales guy. He FedExed it from New York to me, 4 tickets right next to the locker room entry, and I'm sitting there 4 rows, and Kobe walks by and high fives my friend's son. My friend owes me for life. If I ask him today right now to give me his kidneys and his liver, he'll give it to me. 'Cause his son was so happy. A basketball playing 10-year-old got to high five Kobe, and so I'm watching the Lakers just doing their thing. And it was just a beautiful sight because Kobe was a mad bad boy. Shaq, of course, went off and I'm here enjoying the wild, wild west, living the life. And because the Knicks weren't doing anything, because the early 2000s, from 2001 to 2011, I don't know what our record was, but we probably combined for 80 wins for 10 years. I'm just saying it. Something like it felt like that because I was like, where are my Knicks? I couldn't talk Knicks over here. Then Carmelo showed up. And I wasn't a big Carmelo fan, but I'm a Knicks fan, so I'm loving it. I'm like, hey, maybe we're back. And another disappointment. Now, this present time, Thibodeau shows up, Randall comes here, and they brought us back to some respectability. And although, again, I was probably one of the biggest. I was a general of the minutes police, by the way. I was captain, Wiz of the minutes police. I was there all the time, going, arrest the man, arrest the guy, get him some. But Thibodeau did get us back to respectability, got the culture together, got us tough. We bring over my boy JB. Brunson shows up, and I'm celebrating now that we're looking better. I love Cat, by the way. I'm not a Cat hater. I do have problems with some of his stuff, but I love my Cat boy. So, of course, we draft a little second round player. He has some crazy hair. My boy, great grandson, Deuce McBride. And everybody's talking about Deuce can't shoot. Deuce can't shoot. Deuce can't hit balls in clutch time. He's so unpredictable. And I'm like, watch him. Now, Knicks, Laker tickets, by the way, went through the roof. Clippers moved to crypto.com to the Spectrum, to the Laker arena for a few years. Saturday night, 2 years ago, I'm driving by the lake. I said, oh, Clippers are playing with the Knicks. Let me pull over there. I pulled up. I look at the parking lot right next to the arena, right across the street. I said to the guys, how much for a park? They go, oh, $50. I go, 50 to park for the Clippers? And they go, yeah, it's kind of empty. I go, yeah, I'll give you $20, man. And the kid is doing anything goes, come on in, because they'll take $20 cash, slip in 20, park. Ran across the street. I said, hey, tickets available? All these guys scalping, they go, yeah, man, what do you want? What do you want? You want second row? What do you want? I said, oh, you got tickets like that? And I'm like, I remember going to Dodger Stadium or Yankee Stadium and being in a nosebleed and walking down. So I said, no, give me the cheapest ticket you got. Give me the nosebleed. I got a $30 ticket for the Clippers game. Walked in the arena, walked to the first level. Usher, Miami Heat fan. I go, I say I'm a Knicks fan. He goes, oh, I'm a Heat fan. I go, oh, you guys suck. He goes, yeah, you guys suck. We're talking bad to talk shit. He goes, I go, yo, man. Some empty seats down. Can I get on there? He goes, man, come on, man. He took me to the fourth row behind the next bench.
Wow.
I FaceTime Freezy. I go, Freezy. I Deuce turns around, and I'm like, God, I'm on the floor. Deuce. He looked over, but he was trying to make sure Thibodeau didn't see him look away. Because Thibodeau would probably be like, what are you looking at? Get back over there. Because Thibodeau was screaming all the time, man. I said, Freezy, I'm down here. So Freezy knows I call him from the game. $50, parking across the street, ground in the floor seats, and then I spent about $60 on concessions, probably a popcorn and a soda. Still tipped to that car. Anyway, 2 nights later, they always play back-to-back Clippers, Lakers, right? 2 nights later, I said, let me go to the Lakers, try to do the same thing. I pull up to the thing, like, oh, parking, about a mile away is the only parking spot available somewhere. And that's $40. I go, what? I said, oh, you know what? Let me just double park over here somewhere. Talk to some, give some guy on the side. Hey, watch my car, okay? I ran to the tickets guy. Hey, got tickets? Oh, yeah, there's a ticket available. I said, what you mean? There's one ticket available. I go, okay, where's that? Oh, it's about the 3rd level. Okay. You know what? How much? He goes, $600. I go, whoa! I'm going to watch a game on TV. I'm going to watch a game on TV. Thank you. I jumped in my car. I drove to the nearest, local bar with big screens, watched the Laker games on TV. By the way, Clippers beat the Knicks, the game I went to. Damn Kawhi. Oh, and PG-13. Magnificent move. They just moved like gazelles. I mean, Kawhi, with that hand had the ball and he just walked by them and was dunking with ease and I was like, what? I sat next to, I think his family member of his. He's like, yeah, man, he's great, isn't he? I go, I can't stand him. I hate him, but he's beating my Knicks. My first time watching the Knicks lose live. See, he just messed my record up. I just ruined my record. But this is my experience with the Knicks. They have given me more joy than heartache. And even the heartache, kind of like where Queen is always right. The Knicks, even when they give me heartache, they give me pleasure. Even last night's game, I have some qualms. But at the same time, watching Deuce the way he played, knowing Brunson is still Mr. Clutch, knowing that Cat didn't play his best game and OG was off and Kawhi was off, I still saw the gems there. I still saw this pleasure of going. Into the new year, the Knicks are 20 wins already? Man, I am so happy. I'm looking forward to this championship coming up, but I'll take Game 6 in the finals. And I want to say thank you, Queen. Thank you guys for letting me have this whole event and this memory road. And I'm going to drop some Rappers Delight right now because after school, I take a dip in the pool. This is really off the wall. I got a color TV so I can see the Knicks playing basketball. I'm just saying. Okay, that's all I got for you right now.
Oh, man, Wiz killing it.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
Yeah, you killed it, Wiz.
That was ever had. I don't know. That was superb, bro.
By the way, I played basketball. By the way, Rod Strickland came to West 4th Street one day. I was playing, and he came on the court. And he looked like he's on trampoline. He's springing on the floor. He hit every shot he took. He stole the ball with ease. He was like, I'm like, what? I mean, he was just dominant. I was on his team, so fortunately, I was just standing by going, okay, let's go ahead and shoot. I said, let's go ahead. And the crowd was on the fences going, Rod Strickland. And I wish the Knicks kept him. So that was my time. I played with the Knicks. So in some ways, I played with the Knicks. indirectly.
you go.
I'm a Knick. I'm a baller. Thank you, guys.
Oh
Thank
man,
you, Wiz.
love you, Wiz. Thank you
Love you guys,
for
Thank
man.
coming
you.
on and sharing that.
Thank you, Wiz.
Appreciate you
You know,
guys. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I look forward to the next one because I love when I hear about my Knicks. And you guys have been so
absolutely.
great. Queen, keep it up. Like I said, you're always right. Even when you may be wrong, it was logically correct because you are the queen. And the ladies,
Appreciate
by
you.
the way, you and Tori were at Freezy the other day. The ladies are crushing it for the Knick fandom. And
Appreciate you.
your brilliant analysis, your insights have made me a better basketball watcher. And if I was playing, I
Appreciate you.
probably would have been a better player too by hearing how you talk about the game. So thanks, you guys. You have a
I
great night and
Thank you,
Happy New
Wiz.
Year, guys.
appreciate you.
Thank you,
Anytime,
Wiz. Thank
Wiz,
you
you
for
can hop
taking.
on anytime. Appreciate
That
you.
Appreciate
was
you.
awesome, Wiz. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
Yeah.
that.
He needs his
That,
own show.
Yeah,
What are we even doing
yeah,
here?
that was
I
good.
don't
right.
Yeah,
Oh man.
yeah. I felt like I was in a car and we were going fast and seeing things, and I was like, yeah, this is awesome. Thank you, Wiz.
Thank
Oh
you, guys.
man. Appreciate you. Yeah, that was awesome. That was awesome. Hey, listen, if there's anybody else in the chat who wants to come on and talk about your fandom, Nick Nation, if you ever want to, have the time to talk about your fandom, and it doesn't have to be that you met Knicks. It could be that, like me, I just turned on the TV one day and I was like, oh, what's going on here? And then the next thing you know, I'm watching the Knicks. So
Oh yeah,
Next thing
Wiz
you
has
know, you're the
intimidated
best
everybody.
hostess in the business. What do you mean watching the
There you
Knicks?
go. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
like saying the Ferrari is a car. What are we even
right,
doing?
Exactly.
right, right,
Exactly.
right, right. Oh man, that was great. That was great. Hit us up in the chat. You can put it in the chat. You can DM me. You can email me if you want to be on the show and share your fandom.
Nobody's gonna want to do it anymore. They're like, we ain't going after
Yes.
that now. He
Ooh,
may have
after that,
spoiled the
top
whole
that.
segment.
Woo-hoo. Yeah, you
That
can't
was
top that
fire,
one.
yo.
Woo.
I ain't gonna lie,
Yeah,
that was fire.
Yeah.
that was
Great
that.
stories.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But you don't have to end game. What did end game say? He said, I can't top that. Good stuff, Wiz. So we ain't gonna have nobody else on the show now, Wiz. Come on now. Feel free to come on. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be that.
It's
I've
all
never
about
met.
family. We want to hear
Yeah,
your
yeah.
story,
I've never
whatever
met
it is. It
Patrick
doesn't have
Ewing.
to
None
be.
of those guys. You know.
Allah wise, Wiz stole my life. Salute to you, Allah wise. That's my guy right there. That's hilarious, bro.
Yeah. Any last words, Nick Nation? Jeff. Then we're gonna shut out the chat and get out of here.
Yeah, I
No, oh yeah, no, go ahead, Jeff.
I just wanted to say thank you again for all the well wishes and the condolences, and this is really a Knick family, and she's been saying that since the first time I turned on my podcast. She's always said that, and it's true. And so I'm so grateful to everybody in the chat, and Knicks Nation, do not be a stranger. You add to the show tremendously. You've fabulous basketball mind, and that there's a lot of that in this chat. It really is one of the, we like to say that the New York Knicks fan base is sophisticated and elite and understands the game, and there's a segment on certain apps that we don't get to see that necessarily, but those people don't come here, and I'm grateful. This is some of the sharpest people I've ever met in analyzing the game, and it's just a pleasure. But more importantly than that, y'all are just great people and very supportive, and that's what that's what being the collective is all about. And I'm going to say it that way until Tyler's no longer a Knick. So it's a collective. But I appreciate you all so much, and Knick Nation, man. Just an outstanding guest appearance. We're so happy to have you. You added a lot to the show.
Absolutely.
And please don't be a stranger.
No,
yeah.
Definitely.
Go ahead, Nick Nation. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, no, first of all, I definitely want to say Happy New Year's to everybody out there again. I definitely want to thank you, Stephanie, for giving me this platform and coming on with you. I definitely appreciate it. And I appreciate also that even though we have different takes about things, that it's a conversation and it's a back and forth. You know what I mean? So, because none of us are true experts, but we do our best to give our expert opinion. So with that with things like that being said, you know what I mean? I'm definitely appreciative. I'm definitely, whenever you need me, I'm definitely here to come on at any time. And I think we're supposed to do it up on Sunday, right?
Yep, Sunday 10 a.m. if you can make it. Eastern
Yeah,
Standard Time. Are you on the East? You EST Eastern Standard
yeah,
Time?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. I'm North Carolina. I'm North Kakalaki. So yeah, I'm here. No, I don't think I got any warrants chasing me, so we should be good. You know?
That's gonna be a different link. I'll send it to you. Because the
Okay,
recap show is a different link than this show.
okay,
So I'll send
sure.
that to you.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think the channel is rounding into shape. I think my vision is getting sharper for what I want from the channel, and I just want it to be a place where all Nick voices are heard, whether I agree or disagree. Um, that we can just come in and just have conversation and just listening to different viewpoints, and we can disagree and we can push back nicely, but that we're just having an open conversation,
Yes.
on things. That's what I want, and I really want to get to the point, and I'll figure it out where it can be more community involvement. I'm on the road a lot, so calls is not always available, but just maybe dropping the link more for guys to come in, girls too, females too, polls, watch parties, things like that, just become more of a community and move away from just a panel talking, right? Just a panel talking. How
Hmm.
do it become of a, more of a conversation between the panel and the chat? A ways to go, in terms of actualizing it. But we'll get better over time. I would love it to be a party, like Thursday night. Oh, the weekly show. Oh, I'm going there. It's about to be a party. We got to talk about this. We got to talk about that. We know we're gonna have some giveaways. With somebody gonna pop up, talk about their fandom, and you know.
Yes.
So that's the vision. So Nick Nation,
And
thank you for being
yes.
part of the
And I
family.
definitely want to say to what's name as well, Jeff. I mean, there is no replacing a mother's love. My heart definitely goes out to you.
Yeah.
Somebody who has my mother's still with us, but she's sickly. So, we all try to prepare ourselves, but for it to just pop on for you so suddenly, that I know that's tough. And there'll be times in your life where, you'll think back, but, but having friends and people like us, never hesitate to reach out. Cause I've heard people say, you know what I mean? Like, hey, you should get past this or this time. There is no set point of grievance at all. Everybody's different. So always, count on your friends and families, and don't, as men, we try to do that strong thing. We can't, not when it comes to this. So when it's things like this, please allow your heart to come out and reach out to people, because it's a tough thing for a loss like that. So my heart definitely goes out to you, brother. And for you to be this strong, even to come on a show like this, my heart comes out to you for sure.
Yeah, facts. I was preparing for the recap show myself. I had my slides, had all my notes, because I'm like, I got to hold this down by myself this morning. And I pop into the show, and Jeff is there early. I'm like, look at Jeff. So I appreciate
I need to
you.
be distracted, y'all. It's therapy. It's
Understood.
so much better. Like if I just sat and didn't do anything, I would go crazy. Like my father-in-law's an elder, and he's like, "Are you sure you can preach this?" I was like, "Yes, I need to preach. I need to stay active. I need to stay busy, because if I don't, then my thoughts carry away, and the grief is overwhelming, and
Absolutely.
it's bad for my personal process. Like maybe some people need time to think and reflect. I did a little bit of that. I have a post coming out tomorrow where I talk about my mama and the Knicks Spurs game and some of the stuff that I talked about in the intro to the recap show, Lunchtime Live, this morning. But you know, it's important for me to stay busy, and it's important that we interact like this together and show people what humanity is. You know what I mean? We root for a basketball team, but we're part of a bigger team than that, and that team's the human race. And to show kindness and love and you know, from my perspective, being Christ to each other, that's the most important thing to me. And so it means the world to me, and I can't understate or say enough how much I appreciate each and every one of you for your well wishes and your thoughts, and because it's not easy, but it's easier when you don't have to go through it by yourself. And so I appreciate that very much, and it doesn't go unrealized.
Yeah, for sure. Well, family, we play, who is it? Atlanta. Tomorrow night.
Kristaps. Madison Square Garden continues. Kristaps and Trey are going to play.
Okay. All right. Jeff and I will be on Saturday, 10 a.m. to do the recap. Then we play Philly Saturday night. And me and Knick Nation will be on Sunday, 10 a.m. for that recap. Wiz, we appreciate you. Everybody who rocked with us in the chat, we appreciate you. The replay gang, I will get to the comments. I appreciate you guys as well. And then also the silent listeners. Until next time, family.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Don't so.
Where you at? Where you at?
Don't so.
Where you at? Where you at?
Don't so.
What?
Don't so.
What?